Hello, friends, and welcome back. Again, we are here for the same topic. And as we were discussing you attitude in the last lecture, I hope you guys have understood the concept of you attitude. And now we are going to discuss some examples of you attitude, how it can be used. And as I told you, the words we are using in the business letter should reflect the you attitude. So there are certain words that we use in business letter and which are reflecting the concept of you attitude. Those I am discussing here today. So after the completion of this concept of you attitude, we are moving on to the examples of you attitude, and here are some examples that I want to convey for you guys. So if you look at the example here, I have written some examples, and if you read those examples you can understand. So the first example that I can tell you is the first one is this way you can write, and this way you can show that how you have maintained how you have maintained your attitude in the business letter. So examples can be written like this. For example, we are glad we can now send our tape recorder. So we are glad, this one is the word which shows that how they have maintained a you attitude. Similarly, they have given one more example. You would be glad to know that. So this way we are pleased to inform you that. So these are the words which shows that how the you attitude is maintained. So this one is a part of some examples, and you can make some different examples also by using this kind of words instead of using word I, me, us, our, ours, or ourselves, like that. So here you have to show some politeness for the reader, and that is expected. Then here some here are some examples which shows that what sort of how we commit some mistakes while maintaining your attitude. So by looking at the examples also you can understand how it can be done mistakenly. So if you commit some mistakes about you attitude, that can be rectified by doing so. So here is some sort of distinguished or difference between two different concepts. As I told you, mostly we go for you attitude in the business later, but here it is necessary to understand what sort of difference is there between you attitude and in impersonal attitude. So we are going to compare between these two. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the concept of you attitude. Later on I'll talk about the concept of impersonal attitude. The first one is you should never use this type of paper for photocopiers. Then secondly, when it comes to impersonal attitude, this type of paper does not work well in photocopiers. Similarly, you have not connected the wires properly. The second one is the wires have not been connected properly. By looking at this, we can understand how the concept of you attitude is there, and if we want to maintain that, it can be done in a very nice manner. So this is the thing. Now we are going to talk about the two different concepts here, which are very much useful for writing a business letter, and these two concepts are correctness and completeness. Without these two things we cannot say letter is over and letter is completed. So if you want to talk about these two things, correctness means whatever we are writing in the business, those are correct as far as language is concerned. As far as grammatical errors are concerned, those things can be called as correctness. And similarly, when it comes to completeness, it is talking about the things that which we wanted to include in the letter, whether those things are included or not, that we are going to check it out here. So both things we are going to talk about. First of all, we are going to talk about correctness. As I told you, we are going to see the corrections regarding language and the grammatical errors. And in case of completeness, we are going to talk about the things which we wanted to include, and we are going to check it out whether those things are included in the letter or not. So most of the time what happens, we try to write a letter, we try to complete a letter, most of the part that we wanted to include, which is very important, sometimes we forget to include that, and when we do that, it shows that the letter is not completed, letter is incomplete, or like that. So here is the things about correctness and completeness, which we have seen in a brief manner. Moving to the next thing and the next slide, that is here we are going to talk about to achieve correctness and completeness. If you want to achieve these two things, the major aspects of business letter, that is correctness and completeness, certain things we need to follow. If you want to achieve that your letter is correct, if you want to achieve that your letter is completely completed, then you need to follow certain things. So as far as correctness and completeness achievement is concerned, there are certain things that we have to focus. Which are they? Just look at this. Use evaluative and factual words, phrases rather than abstract and general expressions. Most of the time what happens, we go for abstract words which are not familiar with the reader. We go for general expressions which is not a good sign of writing a business letter. So instead of going for abstract and general expressions, we need to be very evaluative and factual words, and we have to use those words while writing a business letter. Similarly, we have to go for some phrases. If we use some phrase, that is okay, and if you do not use phrases, that is also okay, but you should be very much factual, you should be very much evaluative in nature while going for that. Then use unambiguous words, as I told you while talking about the concept of you attitude. Instead of going for ambiguous words, you have to go for unambiguous words, which will not create any sort of ambiguity in the mind of, or in the in the mind of readers. So try to be make your letter unambiguous. And finally, once the letter is ready, you need to take care of one thing as a writer or as a drafter of your business letter. First of all, once the letter is over, once the draft is over, then you go for proofreading of that particular business letter. If the proofreading is not done, in that case, whatever mistakes we have committed while writing a business letter, those will be forwarded, those will be circulated among the readers, and they can also have some uh, in the mind of readers. So if you want to avoid that, once the letter is finished, once the draft is finished, you need to proofread it. Once the proofreading is done, we can say that letter is complete. So what is the benefit of proofreading, that I will tell you. While going for proofreading, we can understand whether the mistakes are there or not, and if mistakes are there, then we can rectify those mistakes by going through proofreading. So this one is the benefit, and this is what proofreading is important one. So I hope you people have understood the concept of correctness and completeness, and the importance of correctness and correct completeness. And if you want to achieve correctness and completeness, this way we have to go for, and by following these things, we can achieve correctness and completeness in a particular manner, and that is expected also. I hope you guys have understood the concept of correctness and completeness. Similarly, we can say something about this. So what is that? To achieve correctness and completeness, again certain things that they have given. So whenever you want to say that my letter is completed as far as a reader's point of view, then you have to check it out one more thing. Whatever questions, doubts and queries are there in the mind of reader, without asking them, without knowing them, you try to understand, to solve those queries without getting from them. So what can be done? You expect their queries, you expect their doubts, you expect their problems, and try to answer those expected queries and doubts from your own side before raising queries from their side. So that is expected. So what should be done? As I told you, you have to maintain you attitude. How it can be maintained? It can be maintained by keeping yourself in the place of reader. When you keep yourself in the place of reader, automatically those queries, those problems you can understand, and when you understand them, you can try to solve them by your own. So if you do so, whatever readers are expecting, those can be achieved. And when you try to achieve their problems and solve their problems, automatically your letters will be completed, okay, or complete. So this way we can go for the target of achieving correctness and completeness, and that is possible in case of these two things. Then one more point that we are discussing here, but we will discuss this particular point in a next video, and that is positive approach. Till then, just keep enjoying my video lectures. If you have any doubts, you can raise your doubt by using this online mode. Till then, thank you very much, and it's time to say bye bye.